This video is just a quick build video on this two-leg robot. Um, I would print the parts first, of course, and have your electronics together. You want to have all your PCBs and printed parts together is a good idea. I generally start when building these robots with the feet and then go my way up. So first I assemble the feet 1 foot at a time, of course. I'll hit the foot, and then I will assemble the these two joints. I will actually put together the rack and pinion for the foot and the ankle. You want to get that in one piece. Then you can just simply attach this little connector and this other little connector, the rack connectors, and then attach the lower part of each motor rack, and then attach the upper part with metric 4 screws. I moved everything from metric 5 to metric 4. Then you can add another adapter, attach the lower leg, basically with this one happens to be a metric 5, 2 metric 5s, I think, basically. Well, actually, you're going to need to connect the lower leg, sorry, when you connect this ankle, because the screw goes through the ankle rack holder into the lower leg. So, or into the lower leg adapter. Actually, I'm sorry, that's wrong. The lower leg is only held with this upper screw, so you really don't even need to attach the lower leg. But so you will put it on. Then when you attach the upper leg, or I'm sorry, the ankle to the lower leg, then you will need to have that lower leg in place. So that's that. I would wait to put the electronics on until the frame is all together. Then connecting the this is just a wire connector. I really have to think more about how to route the wires on this. It's like a 3D printer. You really need to think about but with a robot, it's even worse because they have to have a certain amount of flexibility. They have a certain amount of slack. Connect the hinge, which is just, I think, a metric 4 or metric 5 a screw about 40 millimeters long, probably. You have to embed a nut in there first to make sure it holds. Then I would connect the knee, assemble the knee rack and pinion for both legs, and attach that at the bottom part with a metric 4 and a nut on the other side. Attach it up here into the upper leg, the other side. Then you're moving on to the leg. Assemble the rack for the leg motor and for the side motor, and you can attach the bottoms, and then they just will. So then another thing I think you can separately with the upper leg. You want to attach the ball to it, which is a 2-part piece, and it will pop on top of a little rectangular part and then screw together. Then you will pop the cup on that and screw both sides together. Then that cup inserts, a rectangle at the top inserts into the waist and is screwed in there with a nut on the back. Okay, so now moving up to and then you'll connect the little rack connectors for the leg and the side linear actuators. So now the torso, up to the waist to the torso, there's the torso linear actuator. You're going to just want to currently attach a little adapter there, and that screws in simply with metric 4 and a nut on the back. Then at that point you have all the mechanics in there, and you can actually you'll have the wires dangling right from your motors, so you can actually connect them to batteries. I forget my neurons, and sort of get it standing and hold it into position without any PCBs on it. Then it's really up to you, I guess. At that point, I probably would put the motors on it first, just because then you can at that point, you can connect an Ethernet to it, and then you also want to have the power too, with a little 2 power PCBs, because then you can use the robot app with the ETH Motors window to move it around manually with the arrow keys. So that would be my next move. So you can get it to stand or whatever and play around with it a little bit with that configuration. Then I probably would put, again, it's totally up to you at that point because it doesn't really make a lot of difference. But, you know, you want to get your switch and your ETH accels on there and your accelerometers. I mean, there's one argument for mounting the accelerometers beforehand. I generally don't do that, I guess, just because I think I put the frame together, then put the electronics on. But it could be easier, actually, you know, to put on the accelerometers first if you have them ready to roll. And then it's a good idea to measure out your, you know, RJ12 cable to be a pretty close fit and to route it and maybe connect it to the body. I use these things, but you can see it hasn't worked very well, you know. So yeah, attach those. They go on with metric 3 machine screws with a nut in the back. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. These are tapping screws, metric 3 tapping screws. With the current PCB, you may have to drill out a metric 3. I think I had them initially 2 or 2.5 or something. But this is metric 3 tapping screw. I found works pretty well. So then wire up these are on. The ETH accels are on with metric 3 through a machine screws through a spacer, plastic spacers. In fact, they're not even screwed. They're basically just holding through friction at this point. I'm just, you know, it's an experimental design. So, and then of course mount that torso ETH accel. Currently just in there with plastic mounts. And just apparently holding by friction. Yeah, and of course the ETH switch, and that should do it. That's pretty good to. That's pretty much a quick build video.